Water is life. Honestly, we cannot survive without it.
And in Memphis, our water is our source of pride, some of the best in the world. Our drinking water comes from the Memphis Sand Aquifer, hundreds of feet underground.
And it's very important. Tonight, we're investigating areas where it's easier for toxic chemicals to leach into that ground and contaminate our precious water supply. Fox 13 health reporter Mandy Rock exposes the danger to our drinking water.
When you turn on your faucet, your shower, your washing machine, we all expect that water to be clean and safe. You may never think about where it comes from, deep underground.
Take a look at this graphic. You can see Memphis here. Hundreds of feet underground is the Memphis Sand Aquifer, a mixture of water and sand. That sand helps filter our water. And here is the confining layer. It's made of clay. It protects our aquifer from contaminants. But there are holes in that confining layer called breaches, areas where our aquifer is less protected.
So when you drill through it, if all you hit is a sand or conductive material and never the clay, that's a breach.
Brian Waldron is head of the Caesar program at University of Memphis. His mission, find the breaches. Scientists have confirmed at least 5 breaches in Shelby County and are investigating several others.
The fact is that if a contaminant can get through a breach, then it's in the Memphis Aquifer, and unfortunately we don't know about it until it hits an actual production well.
A production well pumps water from the aquifer to deliver to our homes. That water is tested frequently to make sure it's safe. It can take a long time, decades, for chemicals from the surface to filter down hundreds of feet to the aquifer.
If we can identify where these breaches are and then look at the land use practices, both now and in the past, we can get an idea of what could be coming before it actually hits.
The Memphis advocacy group Protect Our Aquifer works to protect our natural resource. Sarah Houston is the executive director.
Pollution is slow moving, but as you know, Memphis is an industrial town. We have had manufacturing here for over a century, and before the 1970s, before the Clean Water Act, a lot of that pollution was just dumped or buried underground.
When we overlay Memphis's toxic sites on top of the known aquifer breaches, you can see the areas of most concern. At the TVA plant in southwest Memphis, tons of coal ash filled with arsenic, mercury, and cadmium. The old defense depot where chemical weapons like mustard gas were buried, and where pesticides that are now banned were used frequently. And this area, south of the University of Memphis, where a former dry cleaners dumped chemicals for decades.
Whenever you get contamination in water, it is not easy to clean up. Picture your bathtub and you drop some dye in it. Starts to spread little by little. You can't just scoop that dye out. And that's what's going on in our aquifer, is when you get some pollution, it starts to spread out. It's underground. We can't see it, but we know there's an issue there.
Fox 13 Investigates has shown you the project to remove the toxic coal ash from the TVA site to a landfill in southeast Shelby County. That work will take nearly a decade. We've also shown you the old defense depot in South Memphis, which the government says is clean now but continues to monitor. Work continues to extract chemical vapor at the former cleaner site on Southern Avenue. For now, there's no way to repair the breaches, so those areas remain most vulnerable.
We can't take it for granted anymore. We can't, expect that it's going to come out of our tap perfectly clean forever unless we get involved and do something and demand that.
It is important to point out that right now, environmental scientists say our water source is still very clean and they haven't seen much widespread contamination. They're working to find and treat the contamination before it hits our aquifer. Advocates I spoke with said there are some things you can do to prevent groundwater pollution. That includes not dumping chemicals down the drain or on the ground, and keeping lids on waste bins to prevent any rainwater from washing materials out of them. In Memphis, Mandy Rock, Fox 13.